This sits in that smart bathroom category where a toilet is not just a toilet anymore. It is for people who care about comfort and hygiene, and who actually want to use a bidet every day without adding a separate seat attachment. It is also for anyone who shares a bathroom and wants something that feels simple for guests, because smart toilets can get intimidating fast if the controls are confusing. If you are the type of person who just wants a basic flush handle and nothing else, this is probably more tech than you will ever ask for. But if you have ever tried a heated seat in cold weather and thought, okay, I get it now, this is aimed directly at you. Visually, it is a sleek, all-in-one white design. In my bathroom, it reads more modern than a traditional two-piece toilet, and it looks cleaner because there are fewer shapes and seams. In daily life, that matters because fewer seams also means fewer places for grime to hide. The body feels substantial, and the seat height is a little taller than what I was used to. That comfort height is not something you appreciate in the first minute, but after a few days I stopped thinking about it. And then when I used a regular toilet elsewhere, I immediately noticed the difference. It just feels easier to sit down and stand up, especially if you are tall or you have any knee stiffness in the morning. Living with it day to day, the feature I personally notice the most is the heated seat. I did not think I would care this much. I thought it would be a novelty that I turned on for a week and forgot about. That did not happen. On cold mornings, not having that shock of cold porcelain is a real quality of life upgrade. The seat warms up quickly and it stays consistent. I have had cheaper heated seats in the past that feel like they cycle between warm and not warm, and this one has been steadier for me. The second thing that changed my routine is the built-in bidet. If you have never used one, the concept is simple. A nozzle extends and sprays water to clean you after using the toilet. The part that makes this usable every day is control. I can adjust water temperature and spray strength, and I can reposition the nozzle until it hits the right spot. That adjustability sounds small, but it is the difference between trying it once and actually using it forever. The wash feels more thorough than toilet paper alone, and it leaves me feeling genuinely cleaner. The warm air dryer is the feature I expected to ignore, and it ended up being one of the reasons I stick with this model. I still keep toilet paper in the bathroom, obviously, but I use a lot less of it now. The dryer has multiple heat levels, and what I like is that it feels evenly warm instead of blasting one hot stream of air. I run a cycle, give it a moment, and I feel surprisingly dry at the end. It is not instant, so you do need a little patience, but it is consistent enough that I use it all the time. Controls are where smart toilets usually lose people, and this one has been straightforward in my house. The remote is simple, with clear buttons for rear wash and front wash, plus the dryer and some adjustments. It does not feel like learning a new gadget every time you walk in. The side display is also useful in a real way. It shows the seat temperature and what mode is active, so I am not guessing what setting I left it on. The touchless features are convenient when they work well, and I have mixed but mostly positive feelings here. There is a sensor near the base for flushing with a foot wave, which is great when your hands are not clean or you are trying to keep the bathroom a little more sanitary. I use that flush gesture constantly now. The lid also opens automatically when you approach. In my space, the lid sensor is slightly eager. If the door is open and I pass close enough, it sometimes pops the lid when I did not mean to use it. It is not a deal breaker, but it is real. I ended up turning that lid sensor off at night because I do not need it opening when I am walking by half asleep. Once I adjusted that, it stopped being annoying. Setup was the part I was most nervous about, because anything that needs electricity in a bathroom can turn into a project. You need a standard floor plumbing connection and a power outlet close enough to reach. In my case, the only real planning was making sure an outlet was available. Once power was there, installation was not complicated, but it is heavier than a basic toilet because everything is built in. I would not call it a one-person lift if you are trying to be careful with your flooring and your back. After it was installed, it immediately felt integrated like it belonged there. Responsiveness is good. The seat heating comes on quickly. The bidet functions respond without lag. The remote does not need you to press buttons multiple times, which sounds obvious, but I have used devices where the remote feels cheap and unresponsive. Here, I press rear wash, the nozzle comes out, and the spray starts like it should. The temperature changes also feel like they actually change. I do not like when a setting exists but you cannot feel the difference. On this one I can. Cleaning is where I think this toilet earns its keep. The nozzle cleans itself before and after use, and there is ultraviolet light built in for extra hygiene. In everyday terms, that means I feel comfortable using it, and I feel comfortable when guests use it. There is also a premised feature that mists the bowl to help keep waste from sticking. I notice the bowl stays cleaner for longer compared to my old toilet. I still clean my bathroom like a normal person, but the gross buildup takes longer to show up, and wiping it down feels easier. That is a real-time saver. Another feature I did not expect to care about is the deodorizing system. It turns on automatically and pulls air through an internal filter after use. In my bathroom, the air clears faster and there is less lingering odor. It is not magic, but it is noticeable. The night light is also genuinely useful. The light is subtle, and it gives just enough visibility for late-night trips without waking me up with bright overhead lighting. I thought it would be gimmicky. It is not. It is the kind of feature you forget about until you go somewhere without it. I also tested the power outage situation because I wanted to know what happens when the toilet is smart but the power is not. This model includes a backup battery box for basic flushing. I put in a few double-A batteries and confirmed it does flush without main power. That matters more than people think, because the last thing you want is a toilet you cannot flush during an outage. Now for the realistic downsides. The footprint is a little larger than a basic toilet because of the rear tank area. In my bathroom, I had to pay attention to the water line position. The included water supply hose also was not long enough for my exact layout, so I needed to swap in a longer one. That is not uncommon, but it is something I want you to know before you assume it is plug and play. The seat also has a little bit of flex under heavier weight. It is not uncomfortable, but it feels different than a super rigid traditional seat. The warranty is short at 90 days, and I do not love that. So far mine has been reliable, but I always judge warranty length as a signal of how confident the brand is long-term, and I would have liked more coverage. For real-world use, this has become part of my daily routine in a way I did not expect. Morning use is where it shines, because that heated seat plus warm water wash is a comfort thing that adds up over time. It also helps on days when I am in a hurry, because the foot wave flush and the easy controls remove little friction points. When friends visit, the remote makes it approachable. People are curious, they try the buttons, and they figure it out without me giving a tutorial. That is important because a smart toilet that confuses guests becomes a stressor, not an upgrade. So here is where I land after using the Keloyid Modern Smart Toilet consistently. If you want a modern bathroom upgrade that you will actually feel every day, this is a strong option. It is best for people who value hygiene, want to cut down on toilet paper, like the idea of a warmer, more comfortable seat, and want smart features that mostly stay out of the way. If you hate the idea of needing a power outlet near your toilet, or you want the simplest possible setup with zero electronics, you should skip it. For me, the comfort and cleanliness have been worth the extra planning. If you have questions about installation in a small bathroom, or you want to know how it holds up over time, leave a comment and I will tell you what I have seen in my own use. Subscribe to the channel for more real-world tech reviews, and thank you for watching.